everyone, welcome to week 9 of Heart to Heart. This week we will be talking about chapter 9 of Men, Women, and the Mystery of Love, and this chapter is titled To Inspire Love, A Return to Modesty. So this week we're talking about modesty, yay! So Dr. Shree starts off this chapter by talking about shame, which is an interesting way to start off talking about the topic of modesty, but he explains it in a way that makes sense. So, he uses examples to define this type of shame. For example, everyone has an automatic reaction to cover themselves when someone is not, it ends like walks in on while they're changing or something. Like, we all have that inner, like, shame, like, we want to cover ourselves because we're shameful, like, of our bodies because we don't want others to see it. And this isn't a bad thing. This is like, we just all are made like that. We're all made that way. We all have this tendency. And there's a reason for that. We have this natural tendency to cover ourselves because we don't want to be exposed to other people in that way, which is a good thing. So Dr. Shree goes on to say that in the context of betrothed love, which is a mature self-giving love between a husband and a wife, there is no longer any reason for shame because they each have trust that they won't be treated merely as an object for the other's enjoyment. So only in a healthy, thriving marriage can love be absorbed in this way. So this is why we want to dress modestly, period. But especially we want to dress modestly when we're with a person of the opposite sex, because they aren't meant to know that part of us. It's only meant to be known by our future, by the people that we, like the man or the woman that we end up marrying. So in our society today, modesty is often talked about in a negative way, and it's just seen as like a list of rules that women are supposed to follow in the way they dress. And that's not what it's meant to be at all, and that's not what it is. By dressing modestly, like by women dressing modestly, we are helping men not fall into sin. That's like the first, like that's a really important part of modesty. When we dress modestly, we're helping men, we're keeping them from falling into sin, which is a beautiful thing. But modesty is also something that is really positive for a woman because it protects her from being treated as an object of enjoyment by men, and it encourages men to respond to her with a kind of authentic love that all women long for in their hearts. So it's really just, it's a good thing for men and women in many ways. It's a good thing for men because it keeps them from sinning, and it's a good thing for women because it protects them from being treated in a disrespectful and just in a way that they don't want to be treated deep down. So many women will say that it's a guy's fault for having lustful thoughts and that she should be able to dress however she wants to. Which is true. Like, guys should respect you no matter what no matter what you're wearing. They should respect you. And like, it is sad that it's hard for men because it's not always like that for them. They should respect you no matter what, but it's hard because their minds are wired in a different way than women's are. So, a lot of women say that they aren't to blame and it's only the man's fault. But modesty, like I said before, isn't just to protect men from impure thoughts, it's also to protect the woman. So it's really in the woman's best interest because it helps protect her from being treated by fallen men as an object of exploitation. Men struggle with sensuality in a way that women will never understand. Like, women will never understand how much men struggle with sensuality. Because we just don't struggle like with that as much as they do. and we're never going to understand how much they struggle with it. Um, so it's because it's so much more powerful in a man than in a woman. So, because of this, women have a greater need to conceal themselves, or need to conceal from men the sexual values of their body. And a lot of women don't realize this. Like, we have a responsibility to help our fellow male counterparts, like, not sin, and we're just trying to help them by dressing modestly. That's what we're doing. We're protecting ourselves and saving our body for, like, the one person that it's meant to be seen by in marriage. And we're helping men not fall into sin. So, modesty seeks to inspire true love for the person. It's not meant to do anything but that. It's seeking to inspire true love for a person. And as women, we have a longing to inspire and experience this true love. And it's sad because we all have this longing, whether we know it, like, on the surface, like, yes, this is, like, I know that I want this love and I'm going to reflect that. And then there's some women who deep down know this, but they just don't reflect that. But women all have this desire to experience real, true love. And it's just not always reflected in the way they dress and act. So we should dress in a way that reflects this, though. This desire to want to be truly loved. Because the way you dress is going to reflect the way that you want to be treated. And if you want to be treated a completely different way than the way you're dressing, it's sending the wrong message to others, and you're not going to be treated in a respectful way, in the respectful way that you want. So John Paul II says, quote, "Sexual modesty is not a flight from love, but on the contrary, the opening of a way towards it. The spontaneous need to conceal mere sexual values bound up with the person is the natural way to the discovery of the value of the person as such." So, what this is basically reiterating the point of modesty being something that inspires true love, and it's not a flight from love, as he says. Today, it's really difficult for a woman to find modest clothing, or to wear modest clothing and still be in style. It's really hard. It takes a lot more effort when you're shopping for clothes to find modest clothing than the effort it takes to find clothes that are immodest. It's hard. In some ways, it's hard to still be, quote, in style by dressing modestly, but honestly, there are a lot of ways to still be fashionable and still be modest. It's just a little bit harder nowadays. So, but what we wear really does reflect, like, our view of ourselves, and it makes a difference in our relationships with the opposite sex. If we dress modestly, we're sending a message to guys saying that we deserve and want respect and true love, and that's the message we're sending to them. But if we dress immodestly, we're saying it's okay that you see all these parts of me because I don't have as much respect for myself, and it's just sending the wrong message. So it really does make a difference in our relationships with the opposite sex, obviously, because the way you dress reflects the way you want to be treated and will be treated, basically. So I'm going to put up a slide with an excerpt from the Catechism about modesty, and it basically just defines modesty and explains it in greater detail. So just read through that, and we'll come back in a minute. Alright, so that's what the Catechism says that modesty is, and it actually explains it really well, and hopefully you understand it a little bit better after reading that. But it kind of sums up a lot of what we've been talking about already, and just talks about it in more detail. So, this next part, we're just going to talk about what is modest. Like, what is modest? We've been talking about it this entire time, but like, what actually is modest? Like, the way to dress modestly. So, we're going to talk about how to dress modestly. So, this is mostly for girls, but it's beneficial to guys too to listen to this. So, what is modest? Shirts that cover all of your chest, back, and stomach. Probably not a good idea to be walking around showing much of any of those things. So, shirts that cover all of that. Shirts that cover your bra straps. Probably not the best idea to walk around showing your bra in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of girls will say, well, it's just the straps, it's not actually the bra. Well, yeah, but it's that much closer to showing more of you, and it doesn't need to be shown. Like, you're wearing a shirt, you're not wearing just a bra, you're wearing a shirt. So, show the shirt and not the bra. Shorts that cover your entire butt and then some. A lot of girls will do like the fingertip test, so like stand straight up and put your arms straight down at your side, and wherever your fingertips land is probably a good length for your shorts to be at, and not much shorter. So doing that is good. And then shorts that aren't super tight. You could have like really nicely, like, good length shorts, but if they're super tight to the point where they're showing like every single curve of your body and maybe even your underwear line, then probably still not a good idea. Dresses that cover your chest, back, stomach, butt, and go down enough past your butt that it has no chance of showing. It's really hard to find dresses like these nowadays, because the dresses don't normally cover all of these bases. They cover like one or two of them and leave the rest, but so it's really hard. But covering your chest, your back, your stomach, like, I guess now there's dresses now where it has like the top part and then it has like a cutout of the stomach and then like the bottom. Like, really, I mean, it's not. They're finding a lot of ways to make dresses where you're showing a little amount, like you're showing a lot of skin, but it's still considered a dress. So it's really hard to find dresses like this. But honestly, like, they do exist, and they are still fashionable, and they can be worn as and be just in style as dresses that aren't as modest. Pants that aren't too form-fitting. This kind of goes along with like showing too much. Leggings are not pants. Just saying, they aren't. So if you wear leggings, that's great, but if you're going to wear leggings, just make sure you're wearing a shirt or a sweatshirt that long enough that it'll cover your butt, and then you're good. But like, leggings are not pants, so wearing them and wearing shirts that are short enough where all of the leggings are showing from the top of your waist to your ankles, probably not a good idea. It's probably better to wear a shirt or a sweatshirt that covers your butt, because leggings are super clingy. That's what they are. So yeah, and then pants and shorts that don't show your underwear lines. I mean, again, it's just that much closer to revealing too much, and everyone knows that everyone wears underwear, but you don't need to be showing that to the world. So those are just some quick modesty tips and ways to dress modestly. You may or may not agree with me, and that's fine, but honestly, if you want to dress modestly, these are pretty much all the things that you should probably wear. And again, they aren't rules. They're not rules. Like, this is the way you have to dress. Like, these are just ways that you can dress, to dress modestly. So, they're not rules, and don't take them as such. It's just ways that you should dress and could dress to be modest. But no one's gonna, get mad at you if you don't follow these guidelines, but just things to keep in mind, basically, when you're choosing what you're going to wear. So in Bible study this week, we read just a few Bible verses about this. Well, it's not exactly particularly about modesty, but it's about, like, your body, and it's how it deserves respect because God created it and it's a temple of the Holy Spirit, etc. So in Bible study this week, we read 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 19 through 20, 1 Peter chapter 3 verses 3 to 4, and 1 Samuel chapter 16 verse 7. So I highly recommend that you read these. They will help just kind of explain, like, why modesty is important, basically, and just help you kind of have another way of looking at the beauty of modesty. So that is all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's kind of a weird topic to talk about, especially nowadays, but it's really important that you remember how it affects you and others around you, and just think about the way that you dress and the way you express yourself, because the way you do that is going to be the way that you get treated by others. So, I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you next week when we talk about chapter 10. Bye!